White Rocket Entertainment podcast number 935. The losses keep coming. How do we react? And more importantly, how will Auburn react? We'll talk about it. The AU Wishbone is next. From the suddenly frigid wastes of southern Illinois, and I don't know what it's like over in Eastern Virginia, it's the AU Wishbone podcast. John, how are you tonight?
I'm very well, Van. How are you?
A little cooler. We had cold air blow in the last few days, and I haven't broken out the thermal underwear yet, but it's October. That's usually when I have to make the move to the closet and drag out the thermal underwear because it gets cold up here.
We're enjoying beautiful fall weather. Highs in the upper 60s, low 70s, lows at night, like in the upper 40s, 50 degrees. It's very pleasant in Virginia right now.
Well, I'm happy for you. It's not very pleasant in the Auburn family right now, though, and we got a lot to talk about on that score. No, notice that little transition. So the very first thing we always have to do, are we funning or are we raging, John?
We're funning.
We're funning. It's the Auburn Fun Meter, our weekly look at how much fun it is or isn't to be an Auburn fan right now. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10, John?
Basketball team lost exhibition.
Dang it.
Football team lost a game. Starting center's hurt.
Out for the year.
So 2.
Wrong. No, that's probably about right, actually.
You just wanted to click the button.
I just wanted to click the button. 2 sounds fine. I mean, it hasn't been a good last few days for Auburn. I've said before, the best Auburn things I've had the last few days, we had a great Saturday in Auburn before the Georgia game, and then everything after that has been pretty much downhill from the Georgia game itself and the aftermath, and then waiting to we totally called it. If we had, all right, I remember specifically saying we don't seem to be able to score more than like 17 points. And I said, I don't think we can hold them below 17. The surprise was that we did hold them to 17 in regulation and had to go to overtime. But did you have while we're doing scale of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident did you feel we were going to win in overtime in that game?
3.
Yeah, I was going to say 3.
I mean,
we are simpatico, my friend.
Offense struggling. Kicker struggling.
Yeah,
why would I think we were going to win in overtime?
No, exactly. So it was that defense. I mean, once again, our defense keeps putting us in a position to win if we just had any offense. And, we used to say that a lot at the tail end of Gus's years. How many times did we say, man, the defense we're wasting all these great defensive performances? We said that over and over and over. And we're back to that again, except it's DJ Durkin instead of Kevin Steele. So are we gonna have to live through the stop the Durkin? Because there sure were a lot of people that were horrified at the thought of Kevin Steele as the head coach. I don't know if I get the same energy from Durkin being like an interim.
Do you want to go straight there now?
No, that just occurred to me. I wasn't planning on talking about that. I would have put it in the show notes. It's just, I hadn't thought about that before, that it's like we're in almost the same situation, right down to having a high school coach with ties to Arkansas or Arkansas State, and a defensive coordinator that we like and don't want to lose. It's just, I feel like this is like the 15th verse of the same song, right? It's amazing. We talk about in our new book, in the 2010 book, in All They Did Was Win, we talk about how we keep hiring Arkansas State coaches, with Mississippi connections or whatever, that are buddies, and I mean, it's just the most bizarre thing ever. So, I mean, I can only assume Rhett Lashley is next, right? Because we've had every other one.
Do you know who the current Arkansas State coach is?
No, I don't.
Butch Jones.
Well, the law is the law. He's got to come. I mean, we can like it or not like it, but you can't break the law on these things. So here he comes. Champions of life. That'll be us. Because we ain't champions anything else. Oh, ho, hey, oh, ho, ho. No, it's true.
It's true. Coming off the top rope.
Come on.
2 minutes into the podcast.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm
Then so be it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see what we got going on. First thing, I have you know when I have given up and abandoned all hope. I had 3 tickets to Vanderbilt and a parking pass, and I sold them yesterday. I don't feel like driving 4 hours down to Nashville to watch Diego Pavia hang a 3rd L on us in a row. I don't feel that. I'd rather have my money back. And I'll say I sold them for more than I paid, but not much more, just a little bit more. I probably should have asked more, but I didn't feel like making a big deal out of it and making money. Yeah, especially if it was an Auburn family or whatever that got them. I basically got my money back. But it was funny too, because the tickets I looked on StubHub, the SeatGeek, the seats around my seats were going for like $400 or $500 each, some of them. So the Vandy people are like really all in now. They're wanting to be there and see this. And I get it, right? If you had 100 years of crap and suddenly you're having a year like this, I mean, so I hope Auburn people bought them, but you never know. Can't really control it. And I'll say this too. I just want people to know, if there were people that wanted them that were Auburn people, I apologize. I just didn't know how to sell them to somebody. I didn't know how. I've never dealt really with these digital tickets before. I've always had paper tickets for whatever reason. And I've never tried to sell any digital that I've had the last 3 or 4 years. So I had no idea what to do. And I went into because I bought them from Vanderbilt directly. So I went in, that's why they were good. So I went into the Vanderbilt thing, and it basically just sent me straight into SeatGeek. It was like the only option they offered. So my apologies to the Auburn folks that wanted them. Hopefully some Auburn people bought them. I have no idea. But I didn't know what to do. So anyway, the other news, Connor Lew out for the rest of the season, tore his ACL against Missouri. We saw him go down. Honestly, I mean, I hate it. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Hate it for Connor. Bad. Yeah. But that kid, the freshman that's been coming in, has been playing.
Kai Ellis.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty good. I mean, I haven't noticed a substantial drop off, honestly.
We saw a couple of bad snaps, especially the last play of the game. And that was him. And I think, defenses that know it's going to be him are going to be playing in some more trickier stuff, trying to get him to call, do things, step the wrong way and call the wrong stuff. So I think that's an issue I worry about. So, and I think Connor Lew was a good blocker. I think he was solid. So I think that's going to be but I agree. I think it's not a glaring weakness when Kai Ellis comes in there. So
thank goodness.
Yep.
We think about 98 when we went through like 6 centers. Unbelievable. Yep. That's crazy. All right. So you thought about something.
Well,
and you decided.
Yeah. There's no trial of Hugh Freeze this evening. We've engaged some attorneys and they're preparing briefs for a future presentation and the analysis is underway, but it's under development, but we're not rolling anything out tonight. And, so given that, I have 2 questions for you, okay?
All right.
The first question is, how did you feel immediately after the overtime ended Saturday night?
See, this is what drives me crazy.
Mad, resigned. How did you feel?
What was that last part? I'm sorry.
Angry, mad, resigned to your fate. How did you feel?
That's what I was going to say. I went into the game thinking we're going to lose. We have no chance. There's no way we're going to score enough points to compete with Missouri. I just felt so down. And what this team does every dang week is they bring me back in and they give me hope. And then they stab me in the heart.
They pull you back in. They pull you back in every week.
Like the Godfather. Early in the game, I was like, we're going to get killed, so I have no hope. I'm just going to watch this totally emotionless. Just emotion. I'm just going to be watching it like, But then by the end of the game, I'm like, come on. And so when we lost again, I was just kind of like, ugh. I didn't even feel like watching any more football.
Same. I was freaking.
I wanted them to win. I've gone on record so many times as saying I am not and will never be the kind of fan that actively roots for Auburn to lose so that a coach I don't like gets fired. If I totally disliked our coach, I would still want us to go undefeated.
I want it for the players. I want them to have. They deserve it, right? I want them to win a football game.
Yeah. And for all those fans that keep turning out, it was you and me last week, and there was a bunch this past week.
It was a really good crowd.
Yes, I mean, look, it's one thing to be like Alabama and fill up a stadium with loud cheering people, although they really don't when you're winning. But I've always respected South Carolina all the years that they turn out a really good crowd that's loud and excited when they're not winning. And that's kind of where we are right now. We're having to fall back on the Auburn spirit and the Auburn family because the football team, for whatever reason and whoever you want to blame, they're not providing us with enough
winning.
To sum it up. Yeah. So, all right. So that was my answer, is pretty much the same as you. Just, I was despondent. I was depressed. I was sad, disappointed, frustrated, angry, vengeful, wrathful.
I think all those were.
What was your other question?
We're going to get to it. It's further down the list. This week's statistic that doesn't lie, you've probably seen this, is from Jacob Waters. I'm going to read this from the summary from his Twitter account. Against Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Missouri, Auburn's offense has had 10 drives in the fourth quarter or overtime with a chance to tie or take the lead. The first of those drives was a 14-play touchdown drive in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma that gave Auburn the lead. The other 9 drives went 35 plays for 24 yards with the game on the line, an average of 0.7 yards per play at 0 points.
And I said, actually, minus 2 points.
It's true. -2.
-2. Because that's safety. So this is what I mean when I say, yes, 100% true that Oklahoma cheated, that Georgia cheated, blah, 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 blah. That's all true. But this is how you play in the fourth quarter, it almost is like, what difference does it make?
That's right. When the game's online, you have to go out there and take it and win.
Yeah.
And we're just like, here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, if I could rewind back to Oklahoma now, I would still be upset, but I wouldn't be like the whole demanding they forfeit the game type thing, because I'd be like, screw it, what difference does it make?
Yeah, fair.
At the time, I thought it was standing between us and like the playoffs or something, but little did I know.
And I guess it clearly is.
Talk about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Truer words never spoken.
It is standing between us and the playoffs, right?
Yeah, well.
We wanted to talk for a minute about Hugh Freeze job status because we're coming back to this. So you have a few notes here.
Well, I had said that if this was
potato,
then he'd have already been fired.
Why?
Because the recruiting on top of everything else, player dissatisfaction on top of everything else. Freeze has been able to do enough stuff outside of the gridiron lines that people I think have been more willing to give him a chance, right? To keep extending the rope a little bit longer. We've wanted him to succeed. We've liked him to one degree or another. We've liked his recruiting. We've liked a lot more about him than we did Potato. And so with Potato, it was like, dude, you better win because we don't like anything else about you. And when he didn't win, it was like strike 4, strike 5, strike 6, you're long gone. Whereas with Freeze, it's taken him longer to get, I think, to strike 3 because he had some men on base already, metaphorically speaking, But
that's fair.
Okay. Josh Pate is reporting that if we lose to Arkansas, it'll happen after the Arkansas game. And you know what? That seems Auburnish, because think about when we did get rid of
Potato.
Wasn't it like a week or two after we thought it would be? Remember, we got to the moment when we thought they were going to fire him, and they didn't. And then it was Halloween.
Well, and Arkansas was related there too, because my oldest daughter and I went to that Arkansas home game, and that crowd was dead.
Yes.
Like, no juice, no energy. And it was like, ooh, that's not Jordan Hare.
It's hard to believe that just 2 years ago, we went over to Arkansas to see the 23 team play, and they just annihilated Arkansas in their own stadium in the Smokehouse.
It might happen again.
It could, but I think it's going to go the other way, though, because they're scoring so much, and we can't score. We'll score more than 17 this week, but I'm afraid that they're going to score 30-something.
All right, well, this relates to my question in this topic, which is, what would be happening now if the shoes were reversed and the Auburn offense was excellent and the defense was terrible? So basically, if we were Arkansas and we were losing every game like 42-40, but Freeze's offense was first in the SEC at scoring and we were tearing it up, what would be the story and the narrative in Auburn right now? Would it be same place, fire Hugh Freeze?
No, it would be fire DJ Jerkin, get a good defensive coordinator. 100%, because you'd be like, oh, we've got exactly what we wanted in Freeze. We just got to get the other side of the ball corrected, and we'll be great. Bring in a Kevin Steele type guy, to square him away in 1 year. That's exactly it. It's when this is more like Gus and Kevin Steele, where the guy you have in charge, the thing he hangs his hat on isn't working.
This is why the Freeze Gus, I own one side of the ball thing is not great.
Yeah.
And why the Tuberville CEO approach, I think, is in some ways better, because if that was the case now and Freeze had some guy he picked, he'd be like, well, we'll get a new OC next year. We'll come back and get him again. And it would be a different situation right now if Freeze was not owning the offense, but he does.
And I would be, if it was the defense that was the problem and Freeze is like, oh, I got my eye on a guy. We're going to get a guy in here. We're going to bring an NFL guy in here. We're going to be, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. That's it. That's what we need. But the alternative here is you do what we did with Gus like every other year after 2015, which is, well, I'm going to step back from calling plays. I'm going to hand it over to Rhett, Well, no, I'm going to take it back. Well, no, we're going to bring Chip Lindsey in. No, I'm going to take it back. No, we're going to bring, what's his name, Arizona State? Willingham. No, I'm going to take it back, and then you're fired. I just don't want to spend like 6 more years watching Freeze play hot potato with the offensive play calling duties.
As soon as the offense gets good, he's like, oh,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Clearly the offense that we have is the problem. And I keep saying this, the 23 team would have beaten last year's team, and last year's team would beat this year's team, which is the exact opposite of how it's supposed to be going, right? We're supposed to be getting better every year. We've been getting much more talented and much less successful every year. Peyton Thorne would beat Jackson Arnold straight up right now. He might throw 2 interceptions, but he'd score a couple of touchdowns. And I'm beginning to think Arnold's, I've been reluctant to say it's his fault, and I'm still not sure it is. But the fact is, his numbers are exactly the same now they were at this point in Oklahoma last year. And guess what? At Oklahoma last year, he didn't have an offensive line. He didn't have any receivers. At Auburn, he was supposed to have a great offensive line and the best receivers the country's ever seen, and he's doing the exact same thing he did last year. And I don't know how much of that is him and how much of that is the offense and Freeze, and both.
But it's also like when things are not working well, you have to try different things. If you keep doing the same thing, you will get the same result. And
That's right.
Arnold has shown that maybe he's the problem. He's holding the ball a long time. He's not putting up big passing numbers. He's had multiple, misses downfield in the last few games. You have to at least consider it.
Yeah.
All right. A few other things before we get into the Missouri game. The continued comment, we just need to learn how to win.
I'm not interested in that at all.
I'm a crazy person, but it seems like some coaches come in and their teams figure that out immediately, and some coaches don't. So,
well, I mean, think about Gus. We were 3-9, and Gus can't. And I'm not advocating for Gus. Lord knows,
hearing about him.
You can't make a comment without people reading stuff into it, and that's my fault. So let me back up. I called for Gus to be fired after the Texas A&M game in 2016. Okay, so my credentials are clear about this, and you and most of our listeners are witness. That being said, you can't take anything away from 2013. Gus came in, took over a 3-9 team, and the offense. I mean, it's just like when he came in 2009 and took over the crap Tony Franklin team, right? And in 2009, the same bunch of players that he didn't recruit in 2009, really, except for a couple, were like putting 40 points a game up. So there was a period from about 2009 through 2014 that Gus's offense, they knew how to win from the get-go. This is the farthest thing from that. This feels like we brought Gus 2009 in to try to go 225.
But I'm not even talking about offensive coordinators. I'm talking about head coaches. Terry Bowden came in, same group of players, won dramatically. Tuberville came in, 1 year bad. Second year, he got some decent players. They started winning.
Yeah. SEC West.
And like that Kurt Signetti guy at Indiana, he went in there. They are a freaking lawnmower now. So
that's crazy. I know it.
Keep going.
No, I say that's crazy. That's the most shocking thing to me. Even more than UCLA getting vastly better when they fired their coach. To me, the most shocking thing this year has been Indiana just being like an NFL team.
Well, they were great last year, but I thought people thought they'd take a step back, and they're actually better.
I thought they were okay last year against soft competition, and I thought they would be less than okay this year again. And instead, they're kicking butt. So credit to them. Good on you, mate.
Yep.
I mentioned that I'm worried that if we do drag it out, other programs are getting the jump on hiring the best available coaches. Penn State, Arkansas, now Florida. It looks like, have we got some breaking news with Florida? I've been hearing kind of some.
They fired their coach, but.
Well, I know, but I mean, I heard they were making their move, and okay.
They're no.
All right. Not yet. All right.
We're weeks away from anybody being hired anywhere.
In any case, we're going to have a lot of competition this year. This is not a year you wanted to be in a coaching hunt, but you got to.
And there's other teams out there that might decide to make a move too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if let's just say, for example, that Florida hired Kiffin, now we're competing with Ole Miss. I mean, you just start the musical chairs when that happens, and you don't want to be the last one standing.
I get it, but
you want to get a nice butt sitting in your chair.
I like this analogy, but I just think like the good coaches are going to wait and evaluate all the jobs and see where they want to go.
Or they're in the playoffs.
That's right. You can't get them anyhow. So I mean, but also like There's a chance Florida State fires their coach. There's a chance that Brian Kelly gets fired if LSU tanks down the stretch. So
that's fair, yeah. And then you got freaking LSU you're competing with. And I mean, it's there's two teams. This just off the top of my head came to me when you said that. There's two programs that it bugs me no end have become more prestigious than us in the last 20 years or whatever. 10 years to 20 years. These are two programs that I think we used to be equal to or better in stature, and now we're clearly below both of them, and that's LSU and Clemson. And that bugs the crap out of me. I don't like it.
Agree.
I don't like it.
Having said that, we could probably get Dabo if you want him.
Oh, my gosh. If you're going to get Dabo, you might as well get what's his name from Florida State, Texas A&M, Jimbo.
Dabo. He's been mentioned.
Oh, I'm sure. You know who he is? He's the new Jackie Sherrill.
Right? 90% of our listeners have no idea about this analogy.
They did. He's the new Jimbo Fisher's the new Jackie Sherrill. He had his heyday, including at A&M. Okay. And now he's just lurking in the background, waiting for the Auburn job to come open, which is what Jackie Sherrill did. Jackie Sherrill showed up at the football complex when was it either? I guess it was when Terry Bowden was leaving, or was when Tuberville was leaving? One of them.
It can't have been one of them. Maybe that was way after his time.
Yeah. But anyway, well, no, because then anyway, it just was funny. Lane Kiffin today, speaking of which, did you see this?
I did.
Lane Kiffin was at his press conference, said he specifically mentioned Auburn. He said, because I guess they're getting ready to play Oklahoma. Ole Miss is. So he says, Oklahoma has been, I didn't really say stealing offensive signals, but reading them or whatever, And he says, Auburn in particular, he said, Oklahoma's defense seemed to him to know exactly what we were about to run every play. Not just that they were in the right position, but he said they were basically making moves on our players before the ball was even snapped. And they were right.
Yes.
And he says, I told Hugh after that game, you need to change your signals. And a reporter says, well, you're about to play Oklahoma, coach. Are you about to change your signals? And Kiffin says, no. And the reporter's like, all right, I get it. He got the joke, right? He's going to say, yes, no, I'm not changing. He was scanning. The reporter's like, well, all right, the reporter said, well, let me put it this way. Do you change signals weekly, or are there certain teams that you play that you feel like you need to change them for that team? And Kiffin kind of looks at him and goes, that's a really good question. And then he moves on to talk about something else. I just thought that whole exchange was just perfect, right? And that was so good. Kiffin is one of these guys like Spurrier used to be, where I couldn't stand him for a while, but I'm starting to appreciate some of the finer points.
I still can't stand him, but I really appreciated during the Georgia game when he called that timeout right before the half and iced the Georgia kicker, and the ref came over and he goes, no, I was just clapping. He literally said that on television.
Oh my gosh. He's the new Spurrier. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of coaches that can wear a visor, but there's only a few coaches that can be the Steve Spurrier experience. And I think he's kind of got that down. So, all right. You want to talk about Missouri a little bit if we must?
We must. Auburn loses 2017 in double overtime, as we had mentioned.
And I've already talked about, I said I didn't think we could score more than 17, and we didn't. The thing that surprised me was it took Missouri double overtime to get to 20. But that's a credit to our defense. They played really, really well. This was yet another game where nobody could run the ball on us, right? Georgia couldn't run on us. Missouri couldn't run on us. We have a great run defense.
Yes.
It's fantastic. If they just didn't get worn down so much in the second half, we're having to rely on them we need to win these 3-2 type games, and we can't hold them to 2. Who could? So, right. I thought it was pretty much a foregone conclusion once it went to overtime, and it was. So,
well, we'll come back to that. I have some thoughts about that when we get to the overtime part. All right, everybody's favorite segment, apportionment of blame. We're going to start with offensive play calling, play design. This was a game a lot like last year's games because we moved the ball a little bit, but we couldn't finish drives to score points.
Yeah,
missed three field goals and had a couple of other tries where we couldn't get it in.
Yeah,
we ran the ball well inside. I think we could have run it more outside, and we're also allowed to call a freaking screen pass.
There's like 4 things we do, and we don't do anything else but those things. The one time that they did the little reverse to Malcolm Simmons, and how that works, because we do it like twice every game now, but the one time we did it, he almost scored.
Yep.
It's like the one thing that works, because like you said, we go outside, and the screen passes. I mean, how long have we been saying on here, run a few screen passes, right? I mean, try it, and not just the wide receiver screen way out, but I mean like the drop back
screen. Yeah,
old fashioned. You draw the pass rush in, and then you boink, and then down it goes.
And the little tunnel screen, we used to run some with Gus. We're kind of in between, the guys blocking on both sides. You could do that too. But when the defense is charging upfield 100 miles an hour, these plays work. Alabama killed Missouri with screens. They called like 15 of them in that game. We didn't call one. So it's just not in the offense at all.
No, the offense is extremely limited and extremely ineffective.
Yes. Red zone offense is back to being a real problem.
Yep.
I think Cobb averaged almost 6 yards a carry. He had 19 carries. I think we should have run the ball more, but now we don't have Alston, and they weren't going to give any of those other guys any serious carries in this game. So once we get tonight, he spaced him out for 19 carries, and that was it. That's all the running game we had.
I think Mabson got the touchdown run, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
I think that was the only carry he had.
He had one.
The touchdown.
Now I have a trivia question for Van.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready? How many pass receptions do Auburn running backs have this season? And I'm going to give you some data before you answer. Alabama running backs have 31, and Georgia running backs have 27.
Well, I tell you this, it's not enough, because the thing we've been saying is that Jeremiah Cobb is a great pass catcher out of the backfield. Get him into space. So what do? Run him up the middle. You get him in the flat, you hit him with a little screen or a little dump outlet, and let him work. Let him cook. So I'm going to say it's less than 10. I'm going to say 7. Watch it be 0.
It's 10. Most of those were early in the season into Alston. So
yeah, and to Alston.
All right. More apportionment of blame. Jackson Arnold was not great in this game. He was not incredibly accurate. I think, he had he was decisive a couple times on the run, and especially in the beginning of the game, he was decisive where he tucked the ball and took off, and then that kind of went away from him. I think the receivers did not help him. We have not called out the name receivers in apportionment of blame this season like we did a lot last year, but the drops were bad in this game.
Yeah.
Preston Howard is a continual problem. I'd rather we not throw him the ball again. But Cam Coleman had several drops in this game.
He did.
I do want to say the blocking on the edge was really good from all the receivers. Perry Thompson had a really good game. His best game probably as an Auburn player.
It was his best. Yeah, it was his best game.
And the receivers blocked well. I think that's the kind of thing that's an indicator that the team is like trying when the receivers are blocking well.
Yeah.
And then kicking.
Well, let me say this about
Go.
Jackson Arnold before you change the subject. There is word out that we might be doing some different quarterback things against Arkansas. But what I was hearing was not Deuce Knight. It was
Ashton Daniels.
Ashton Daniels. Yeah, which he's not a great passer, allegedly. So are we going to like run the veer?
Well, I mean,
single wing.
He doesn't have to be that great a passer to be better than Jackson Arnold, right?
Yeah. See, I don't know.
You
try it.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like, take a shot, okay? Like,
I'm both. Why not? Yeah.
If it's not working, then it doesn't work. But it's also like, what if they throw him out there and suddenly the offense sparks and we're moving up and down the field?
Yes, but I think that the main problem is two things. One, Freeze is worried about Jackson Arnold's fragile psyche. He doesn't want to bench him and like mess with his confidence. I think that's part of it. Okay. And I know. And I think the other part of it is that he keeps our defense is keeping us in these games. And I get it. He's like, if I'm within like 5 points or something, do I really want to experiment and put somebody out there that maybe turn the ball over and turn into last year? So I get it. I understand that he feels like, you know, if it's 15-10 in the fourth quarter, or if it's 17-17 or something, do you want to change quarterbacks and roll the dice that you just blew what you've taken 3 quarters to get to? I understand that. But at some point, the same thing keeps happening in the fourth quarter. Nothing.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Like,
you're talking about my tee shots.
Okay, besides your tee shots and my tee shots.
Yes.
Starting Jackson Arnold and calling the exact same offense, same result. We're going to get 17 points in an SEC game. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I think we're at the point now that he's realizing that. But I mean, the last 3 games, I could see not wanting, if you feel like you've got it close and it's a winnable game. You know, last year he stuck dude out there throw 5 interceptions. So I'm just saying I understand the reluctance to change when it's close. But I think at this point in the season, with the last 4 games, close is a mirage. It's a mirage. We're going to lose. So do something. Yeah.
I mean, you have to do something different if you want to get a different result. I do not. Now, let me say this. Here, we'll get into this a little bit with the Arkansas game, but their defense is so bad.
Yeah.
Wet paper bag bad. Yeah. Wet paper bag bad. That Jackson Arnold may look really good against them. And then people will be like, oh, it's fixed. That's what he's hoping for, really, man.
Oh my God!
Yeah. All right. I want to talk,
and then
blame yourself.
Amen. I want to talk about the kicker for a minute. We on this podcast are not going to blame Alex McPherson.
Oh, no.
I'm just telling you. But the decision to send him out there a 3rd time was the coach's decision, and it was a bad decision. He's missed 2 shorter ones, and now you're going to send him out there for a longer one? No,
that I couldn't believe. I tweeted when they sent him out there for the 50-yarder. I tweeted that I was pissed off, and not at him.
No.
He's going to go out there and try his best when they tell him to. You're darn right he is. But I mean, why we have a long kicker on the roster if he went 0 for 1 and we're never going to let him try again? I mean, we gave him a scholarship to kick 1 kick. Yeah. I know he kicks off, I guess. And people were saying, well, Alex was hitting them from 50 yards in practice. Well, he wasn't during the game. He wasn't hitting them from 30 whatever during the game. 40, right? 30,
The
39,
game
40.
results, it wasn't the first kick you attempted. You had 2
Right.
misses.
Right. Yeah, it was turning into 2005 LSU.
A little flashback there.
John Vaughn.
All right. The defense was excellent in this game. The defensive line and linebackers were incredibly disruptive. They were getting upfield. They were causing, as you said, shut down Missouri's running game.
Completely.
Really good tackling. I think really pushing upfield, causing problems for them.
Did Xavier Atkins get hurt?
I don't think so.
Or was it one of our guy in the middle got hurt? The one with multiple names. I always have the 3 name guys. I can't remember their names.
I think Atkins got banged up a little bit, but I think he's fine.
Okay. Well, our big defensive tackle in the middle was down.
Bobby Jamison Travis. So you're thinking
that? Yes, and he hurt his knee. And he hurt his knee.
I've not heard anything about him.
And he had to limp off. He could barely get off the field. And I was just like, oh, this is all we need.
That was late in the game, too. So I know.
Yes.
I know. But the Atkins and Robert Woodyard at linebacker both had great games. Keldrick Falk had a great game. Travis had a good game. So it was really strong by them. All right. And now we want to move to overtime. And before you get into your note, I just want to say we had the ball at about the 30 with 18 seconds left in the game, and we sat on it and went to overtime, and I had a problem with that.
We had timeouts.
Yes. Take a shot. Throw it down the field, and
we have Cam Coleman.
Interference. Yes. Send Cam Coleman deep and chuck it to him and let him tackle him and get a first down.
If we didn't have Cam Coleman, we would be like, man, if we had Cam Coleman, we could have sent him down the field and thrown the ball to him. We could have won the game. Well, guess what? We did, and we didn't do it. I just did not understand that at all.
No. I just take it. Your offense isn't great. You're going to overtime against a team that, I'm not sure it's going to work out better than, and we don't try. That bothered me.
It totally bothered me. I couldn't believe it. Mike McClendon, who's contributed some stuff to at least one of our books, longtime Auburn observer and fan, he noted we ran 8 plays in overtime, 2 offensive series, net negative yards. Of the 7 offensive plays we actually ran, Arnold was sacked once and had 1 run for negative yards. He did not attempt a downfield pass, even though at least 1 was called. Freeze said in his radio interview that our plan for the overtime period was a problem. That is an understatement. What was there? Was there a plan? What was it? It did not look like it. Have they ever practiced an overtime offense? Again, it does not appear so.
I think that's very fair. I think, again, this is it's another reason we should have tried to score at the end of the game, because I think we had good plays for the overtime ready to go.
Was this the worst overtime we've ever had?
I'm gonna say I'm very skeptical about that.
I don't know. We had a possession twice, went backwards. The only reason we had a second overtime was they missed a short field goal, right? Wasn't that how it went? We didn't score the first.
They didn't score.
All they had to do was kick the field goal to win, and they missed. So then they got the ball and scored, and then we fizzled out.
Did the terrible Missouri game the last time they came go to overtime?
Yes.
So maybe that one.
Yeah, because we kicked a field goal, I think, right? And then they got the ball.
I blacked that game out.
All right, I know. I think it went like this. We kicked a field goal, and we were up 3, and then their running back broke loose. This was at the end of regulation. They could have won it with a field goal, and they missed. Okay, so then it goes to overtime. Then we kick a field goal. We're up 3. Then their running back is running untouched into the end zone to win the game and drops the ball out into the end zone. Auburn recovers it and wins the game.
Okay, that's right.
Jeez. And I wouldn't have been able to say that except I saw like a little replay of it recently, I think at the beginning of this game. All right. So Missouri, I hate losing to Missouri because, again, John, do you think the problem I have with losing Missouri is that me living up here near St. Louis, I have to hear about it all the time from all the Missouri fans?
You couldn't find a Missouri fan to talk trash if you tried.
Today in class, there was one kid that looks at me and he said, he's on the front row down the end. He looks up at me and he says, "So you want to talk about that Auburn, Missouri game?" And I said, "I do not." And then we started class. And that was it. That was all in all the years I've lived here. That is the sum total of all the kidding and trash talking I've ever gotten from a Missouri fan was that. And I mean, I wear Auburn stuff all the time, and I never hear a word. They could not care less. They care about the Cardinals. They care about the Blues hockey, and that's it. Maybe the Battlehawks, their UFL team. Oh, they love the freaking Cardinals up here.
I know.
They love them more than the Braves are loved in Georgia. It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. All right, Arkansas. We're at the Smokehouse, and you know what time, John?
The 11 a.m. Jefferson Pilot time slot of death.
So we can get this thing on and over with by about 3 o'clock.
So if you got afternoon plans, you're fine.
And I usually don't want to watch football after we lose. So I'm sure. But you know what? I looked at the schedule. This is not a good. It never ceases to amaze me that we can have 16 more or less prominent college football teams in our conference, and yet there can be so many weeks that there's just not very many good matchups, and I don't understand it.
Well, here's part of the explanation is this is one of those years, a rare year in the calendar where there is an extra Saturday between Labor Day and the first week of December. So everybody gets 2 bye weeks instead of 1 bye week. So the schedule peanut butter is spread a little thinner across the bread.
Yeah. Did I understand that this past Saturday was the first time there were ever 8 SEC games on the same day?
I'm sure it
8
was.
SEC, 8. I think this was last Saturday was the first time that you had 8 SEC on SEC games. Nobody was off. Nobody was out of conference. And this was a really good week this past weekend. This coming Saturday, not so much.
Not the same.
No, not so much.
Go to the pumpkin patch.
So right. How good is Arkansas? Well, you said their defense is not good.
Well, I mean, overall as a team, they are not good, right? I mean, they have already fired their coach for a reason. Sam Pittman has been fired, and they promoted Bobby Petrino, but they are 2-5, and their 2 wins are over Alabama A&M and Arkansas State. They have lost 5 games in a row, but those games are to Ole Miss, Memphis, Notre Dame, Tennessee, and Texas A&M.
That's not bad.
That's right. That's not.
And they could have beaten Memphis.
Yeah, no, that was a real game.
And they could have beaten Tennessee.
That's right. Since Pittman was fired and Bobby Petrino took over, they scored 31 at Tennessee and 42 at home against Texas A&M. So on the other end, their defense is terrible. Once Pittman was fired and Petrino took over, he fired our former linebacker, who was the defensive coordinator, Travis Williams. But their defense is terrible. They are last in the SEC in points allowed at 32 points per game. And they are giving up the most yards in the SEC, over 420 yards per game. So if Auburn cannot move the ball and cannot score more than 20 points in this game, we have a real problem.
Yeah.
On the advanced stat side, they're still better than South Alabama or Baylor, just because they have played good teams that have scored that. So.
Well, we didn't exactly steamroll South Alabama and Baylor either. So.
No, we did not. So I'm concerned because I know Arkansas's offense is way better than most teams we played.
So I figure we're going to score 20 to 24 points, a little better than what we've been doing, maybe one touchdown more than we've been doing. The question is, can our defense hold Arkansas to less than 20 to 24 points? I think it's possible, but it'll be difficult, especially in the fourth quarter, and especially when the defense knows they're not going to get any help. They're going to be 3 and out, and back out on the field the entire fourth quarter, unless we drastically do better against this defense than we have.
I think their defense is so bad we may do better, but I think it puts a lot more pressure on the defense because they can score. Yeah. And we know from previous experience, Bobby Petrino is diabolical. Like, he is a really good offensive coordinator. And he will create real challenges for us. And he wants desperately to win an SEC game like this because he wants the job. And this will help him get it. So he's going to be ready for Auburn with everything they've got. They're going to be throwing the kitchen sink at Auburn. Their offense is really strong. They're good. They're very balanced. They're good at running and passing. And I think we got to – if you're going to take away one thing, it's do what we do best to take away the running. I think that's where we got to go.
I agree.
And I think, Mike Washington at running back is really good. He averages 7 yards a carry. It had 147 against Texas A&M. Taylor Green, we've seen him before. He's good.
What they did against the Texas A&M defense really has me worried.
Agree.
That's a good unit.
And they caused Texas A&M caused all kinds of problems for us, but Arkansas went through them like a knife through butter. They were rolling up and down the field against them. So I just think they are a dangerous, hot offense right now, and it's going to be a challenge for Auburn to slow them down. And I'm very concerned that we, how we're going to do. I'm going to say this. The worst a Power 5 team has done against Arkansas is 32 points and 489 yards of offense.
Dang.
So I don't expect Auburn to do that. But I genuinely think we could get 27, 28 against this team.
Wow. Holy cow.
Stop the presses.
I'm sure there's sound clips for that. But now you're saying we're going to score 27 points?
Blasphemy!
Fair.
So there's no way we score 32 points. I can't see it.
Pick six.
Well,
non-offensive score.
I feel like the game is going to be something like 32-27 Arkansas. And we only, 27 is pretty good for us. Although it will be interesting if we switch up quarterbacks and kind of stir things up a little bit. Maybe we'll break out of this funk and we'll actually the likelihood is we'll do worse, but maybe we'll do better. You never know. Maybe Ashton Daniels goes in there and, we know he can run. Is he a better running quarterback than Jackson Arnold? I don't know.
He's a very good runner. The question is, can he throw the ball right? His passing.
Well, that's what I'm saying is if he's not as good of a passer as Jackson Arnold and not as good of a runner, then all you're really doing is making yourself feel better by not playing Jackson Arnold. I don't know if you're actually helping the cause. You know what I mean? You can say, yeah, but Jackson Arnold's not in there, so yay. And I'm like, well, yay, but is our replacement better?
Well,
or did we make it worse?
It's fair. I think the issue with Jackson Arnold is I think he's scarred from the Oklahoma experience and from his earlier games this year against Oklahoma and Texas A&M. But I think he's scared to let go of the ball sometimes. It's it's not like the yips or whatever, but he can't let go and attack and be decisive in that kind of gunslinger, which you really need.
He finally got his interception.
Yeah, and I'm happy. I agree. I think, talking about the broadcast, it was a good thing. It was a problem that he hadn't.
Get it out of the way.
And he could have gotten 5 already this year. There were plenty of tip passes and safeties.
Right in the chest and drop. There have been several that he hit him right in the numbers. So, it's just been kind of a fluky thing. But after the last couple of years, it did at least feel good to know we were losing in different ways than that. It was nice to lose a game not by throwing 15 interceptions in the first quarter.
I was going to say, I considered for this podcast us just clipping up audio from the last 3 or 4, putting it together and saying like,
yeah, that would work. Hey, I am fully capable of doing a show with you without you because
I'm John Ringer.
That's fair.
Harsh. Damn. I love Auburn football and I love defense. What am I missing? Now, this is like the soundboard coming after me. This is concerning.
It's actually coming. It's actually got you in its sights. That's just I do have Rule Britannia on the soundboard. I had no idea. We need a random mention of Montgomery just so I can hit it. I need something in listener questions.
I wish we had Montgomery back as OC.
All right, that made me feel better just to do that, just to keep it out there one time.
I'm glad you're better. So
John, we burn our life for this team.
I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see.
That's what it feels like to be an Auburn fan right now.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up on Arkansas. This is the real question is like, we know they can score. We'll slow them down a little below their average, but I don't think like last year we held them to 14 points. I don't think we're doing that again. So can Auburn's offense, even against that wet paper bag of an Arkansas defense, get to 30? I genuinely don't know without a defensive or special team score. So
yeah. No, I agree.
All right, moving on. Auburn basketball.
And we had our exhibition. We don't play an actual game until like November, right?
Yes.
So this was like a very early practice thing where they just raised some money at Boutwell, gave me a chance to do the whole Boutwell thing. That was cool. That place over 100 years old.
See, I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, see, I grew up watching Birmingham wrestling on TV from Boutwell Auditorium, Birmingham, Alabama. You coming to Boutwell, you going to have to get well, boy. That's what I heard my whole childhood. Austin Idol, Bullet Bob Armstrong, Junkyard Dog. Oh, they were great. Yeah, they all came through there.
Todd Pettiford.
You just add his name to the list. That's right. So, I don't know. I wanted to point out that this was the first time that these Auburn players, any of them have played a game together against an opponent. Usually you've got like a couple that have played together before, but this is the first time because Tahad is back, but he's never played with any of these guys. Everybody he played with is gone. So one guy back, a whole new team, and they still had a pretty good offense. They almost got to 100. And
the offense played well. It didn't play nearly as well as it can. They almost got to 100.
Right. Yeah. That's right. I know. I mean, the offense looks very promising, and they didn't even shoot well. Tahad was like 3 for 17 or some ridiculous thing. But man, my man that I told you about, he had a game. Keyshawn
Hall, who's the one from Central Florida. He had 26.
Yeah. Oh, he was awesome. He was exactly what I said, Tasmanian Devil.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I wanted, and that's what I saw. Keyshawn Murphy's our center, and he didn't play really in the second half much after he got hurt. And people were saying, well, he didn't have any defense down around the goal. I'm like, well, yeah, he got hurt. We got one guy that can do that really, and he got hurt. So we're going to have to find some other ways to
our backup center is out for a while. At least probably until conference play. So that's a problem. And the good news is that I was worried it was going to be a serious injury, but they're saying it's just a sprain or whatever, so he'll be back.
Keyshawn Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what made me so mad? Did you see how he got hurt?
Yeah. Help another guy
That
up.
floor.
Yeah, the bad floor.
Yeah, the stupid floor. They had just put that stupid floor down, and he went down to help the other guy up, and his foot just went out from under him and twisted his leg. I'm like, I said, if they don't fix this floor, I don't want Auburn playing there again. That's ridiculous.
That's why you don't play these gimmicky floor games like you're playing on an aircraft carrier or something.
No, it was awful. It was awful. People sliding down everywhere.
Yeah. The defense was not great.
Yeah.
But it's game, like you said, it's game one. I have enormous confidence in Stephen Pearl and that staff to get the defense to a competent level. But I think we were very spoiled the last several years with the quality of defense that we had. Jedi Broom and Dylan Cardwell are not back there at the rim waiting on people to try to bring it in the lane. So, and it's not going to be quite the same.
No.
Larry Bird's not walking through that door, fans. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door, and Robert Parrish is not walking through that door.
And Janai Broom is not walking through that door. They're not. So, but I mean, the guy that ran the defense for those teams is our coach now.
That's right.
So we haven't lost much in terms of coaching the defense. We just lost a bunch of senior players. See, this is the thing. I feel like Stephen Pearl is in a no-win situation where he's going to get compared constantly, not just to his dad, but to last year's team. And I mean, you could take half of Bruce's teams and compare them to last year's team and look like you should get fired.
We said multiple times that's probably the best Auburn team ever. So I'm not going to, I, John Ringer, am not going to make any comparisons between this team and that team to be like, oh, well, last year's team was better at this. Like, no.
Man, we did the 2004 versus 2010 football on here simulation. I would love to do the 2019 versus 2025 basketball team simulation because, I mean, it's kind of the reverse where there's one team that is just loaded top to bottom, and there's the other team that just kind of finds a way with some offensive firepower and some in other words, 2019 is like Cam's team, the basketball, 2019 basketball with Bryce Brown kind of and Jared Harper being Cam basically. And then 2025 is more like the 2004 football team where you just had big dudes every position, Cadillac and T. Will and Ronnie Brown and Jason. Yeah, so that would be interesting to see 2019 versus 2025 because 2025 would grind them, but I think Bryce hits some threes and suddenly you're like, so
that's right.
It'll be closer than you'd think.
I like it.
2019 though struggled most of the regular season, so they were not a slam dunk team until really the SEC tournament.
They caught fire at the end.
They did.
All right,
pick them. What's the update? Pick 'em?
The Wishbone pick them on. We have a lot of patrons and people enjoying this, so I've sorted it by week again. As you said, there were 8 was the most you could get, and we had 8 people in the pickup contest get all 8 correctly.
Wow.
I was in a big group that got 7 correctly, and Vega got 7 also correctly. So we tied again this week. Okay. And the overall leader is Show Me Your TDs, followed by Cato the Barner and Auburn Football's Elvis. So they're in the lead at the very top by themselves. So long way to go, but they're really doing well. It's impressive. So we got a long way to go in the season, but coming over and give it a shot, see what you can do.
Go to www.auwishbone.com. Yeah, I missed the first week, so I'm like 10 points behind everybody else, but I'm trying to catch up slowly, chipping away. By the way, the people that went 8-0, they knew what was up in Jordan Hare.
Yeah, I'm going to say I picked 7 right, and I picked Auburn.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so. All right, a quick Fantasy Formula One. If you are a patron of our program and you've signed up to play in the Fantasy Formula One League, I'm just going to hit real quick, real fast. We had a race in Austin. Did you see the new trophy? it was like the racetrack mirror image, like a V, and then the bull horns, all like stainless steel. So that's a pretty cool trophy. So right now, Michael Kirshner's Formula MK.2 is still pulling away, but I chipped away at him a little bit because he had Oscar Piastri, got him -4 points. That's pretty funny. I switched to Max Verstappen a while back, and I'm in second, 35-68. Lane Middleton in third. John Stubbs, and then Mandy Thompson and Wiggeber in sixth, and then my other team in seventh, Eric Morgan in eight, Michael Kirshner in nine, Lane Middleton in 10. So, all right, we've got, I think, 5 races left to go. So we'll be more comprehensive with it when we get to the end. But right now, it's just another week. We got the Mexico race next week. So go ahead and get your changes in if you're going to change anything about your lineup. Got to thank the patrons right quick. Thank the folks that make our show commercial free. You know, I've always promoted this as, you know, keep our show going and keep the lights on in the studios and all that good stuff. But the fact is, having patrons, if we didn't have patrons, this show would have ads. But because we have patrons, we don't have ads. So thank you guys so much. Here, as always, and this is one of everybody's favorite parts of the show, we have to thank Samuel Salvatore. I don't know if he wants to do the freeze thing, and I'm not going to speak for him, so I'm just going to defer. All right, we'll let Samuel let us know. Logan Chilton asks the very significant question, what exactly do you sacrifice to be an Auburn fan?
So what do I sacrifice?
It's a good question.
Everything.
Yeah, it's true. Ben Spooner, man, to lose again, it's just
Blasphemy.
Carl Von Drunker, Chris and Clinton Stewart, Bella Chick has lost his man card. Earl Ricks, Phil Amthor. This is what I was saying going into overtime.
No, I'm devastated. I'm devastated, and they're celebrating right in front of me. This is the worst. This is the worst. No.
That's it. Richard Stevens, Steve Trawick, Ann Pridgeon, Shane Bailey, Susan Trawick, Willie Carden, Matt Fly. By the way, I hated letting Willie down about the whole Vanderbilt thing, but I can't do it. Matt Flowers, Win from Norman, can only think of one song to sum up his feelings right now, and that is, he has several on here, and I can never find it. Oh, no. Oh, here it is.
My head hurts, my feet stink, and I don't love cheese. That kind of morning really was that kind of night.
Yeah, it was. Gary Grant, a.k.a. AU fan at KSC. William Morgan, Bradley Blackman, global warming has canceled the freeze warning. I'm afraid so. It would be kind of funny if our next coach was named like Summers. Right? You know, that would be kind of funny, I guess.
Oh,
yeah. Beach. Yeah, I don't know. Be interesting.
spring.
Michael Kirsch. I'm sorry?
Spring.
Spring, yeah. Sure. Michael Kirshner, if Carol Shelby could see me, he would say,
I don't speak Italian, but he ain't happy.
That's the truth. David W.E. Sammons, Esquire, Harry Zagger, G Money, Rich Reimer, Steve Harlan, Wes Atkinson, Dan Thompson. A few more patrons, then back to the authorities. Catherine England, no one fights like Gaston. What's the definition of insanity again? Well, you already defined that earlier, and I said it was my tee shot. Mickey B. Some kind of hieroglyphics that I guess it's missing a field goal or something. I'm not sure. That's pretty cool, though. Theodore Gary, Winston Body, defending fantasy F1 drivers manufacturers champion Lane Middleton. Lane, you're in the running this year, but I don't think you're going to win, or I don't think I am either. Brandon Smith, Daniel Odom, Rhodesian Mudflap, H-Town Danny, WD Richie wears a paper bag overhead when we go on offense. I know. I get it. Chris Hilton, Ben Bloodworth. Of course, our football players don't wear glasses because it remains a contact sport. Algo Rhythm and Blues, Rusty Owens, My drink ran out, so I can't do the high tones of my voice here. In home, Hugh, Luther, and Kelly Ottaway. 2 goldfish are in a tank. One says to the other, "Do you know how to drive this thing?" Nice. Very good. Let's see. In SEC officiating news, touchdown equals fumble, timeout signal equals clapping, and logic is optional.
Please clap.
That's right. Woody the Jag, official 2024 Bowl Mania champion. Chad McDowell, Auburn football's Elvis. Wade Ward. Let's do this one. We need to.
Like an unwanted neighbor that comes over and visits.
From the Weather Channel, Reynolds Wolf.
Thunder snow.
I love it. Jeff Hunter, Timothy, Russell Milling, Randall Walker, David Simpson, Josh Teal, Tony Perry, Rob Morgan, Patrick Williams says the AU Wishbone is simply,
whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today.
Woo! I agree. Shannon Butson, Construction Tiger, Papa Todd, Cato the Barner, Stephen Houston. I can't get used to the new order this thing puts it in. I don't do this. Patreon does this. They changed the order on me. Stephen Houston, Kevin Mahan, Blake Heron, Sarah Hines, Sasquatch, reigning basketball bracket champion. You know, John, I just learned today that Sasquatch is also the 6-time man. Tim Pittman, he did not join us down here in the studio tonight, but Boris the Tiger, Charles Mooney, I missed my cosmetics test, but there's no makeup day. That's fair. David D., Auburn Blue, Dr. Crackham, Bill Weathers, Philip Martin, Wardam SEC champions. Walt thinks it is most definitely time for a thaw to end the freeze. I think we're right. Antoine Morris, ABB, Wiggeber, 2005 Auburn University intramural horseshoes champion. Let me interject this in the way here, John. I've been very careful in how I've reacted to people talking about freeze because I am aware at the back of my mind that there are people that genuinely liked him and wanted him to succeed and are now wanting him to be fired as an overall evaluation. And there are people that never liked him, fair enough, never wanted him to be hired, fair enough, and are now coming out of the woodwork to, you know what I mean, to be like, they're not I told you soing. If they were I told you soing, and some of them are, but if they were I told you soing, it'd be easy to identify them. But if they don't, if they just say, oh, you know, look at these stats, we need to fire Hugh Freeze, I have to stop and think, were they like against him the whole time? Or is this like a genuine realization? You know what I mean? Is this somebody that's had a true conversion to the faith? Or is this somebody that's just been lurking all along, waiting for the chance to be right? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with either side. I keep my brain asks that question every time.
I think it doesn't matter on some level. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and
Sure.
But things are going to happen the way they're going to happen. So.
Well, I was the former, right? I predicted we would hire him. You thought I was crazy, more or less. I was right because I'm always right. People need to realize that. And then I was supportive of him from the beginning, right? And now I'm not. After Texas A&M, just like with Gus, it's always Texas A&M. You know how LSU fires their coach after they play us every other year, every couple of years? I kind of want our coach fired every other couple of years after we play Texas A&M. I don't know why it is, but that's just how it seems to work out. So
that's fair.
Tyler Ward, 2025 War Ready Bracket Champion. Mark Squire, Joey Miller, Alex Wynn. Kenneth Brent Rain says the barbecue, it failed all of us.
It failed me for the last time.
It won't be the last time, but it did fail. AKA Auburn Dead for Life. John Stubbs, Clay Henson, Justin Bean, James Taylor, Ruth and Darren Sutherland, Stephen Thompson, Ben Amos, Spanky. I'm at the bottom of this list because
Brock Wilson! Blasphemy!
Chris Como, Darren Pyle, David Smiley, and finally, Trevor Johnson, Royce Alvarez, college equestrian expert, Auburn Elvis, AU Falling Up, John Otsuki, Paul Bankston, Russell Souther, MVP captivating Kathy Bright.
Your love of the halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your mind.
I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. It was so funny. Kathy's sitting there at our table with Jared and me and the guys and the author of the Auburn book and the author of the Ole Miss Sucks book or whatever it's called. And somebody came up and said, "You're Kathy Bright." And Jared and I go, "She doesn't have any friends." Nobody likes her. That was so good. Bless her heart. Kathy's so sweet. Ben Rigas, Bobby Polite, Elizabeth Donald, I buy this for $1. Rich Hammett, Chris Braun, Alex Browns, Liver Cirrhosis Albie. I guess drunk Albie has paid the price finally for his bad ways. The Slinko family, Daniel Witten. Sorry, my voice is getting bad. Tim Saul, Jim McCrory, good old Jim. We saw Jim again. After Trump jailed him, Elon Musk escaped from alligator Alcatraz, but was eaten. See you later, elongator. New York Tiger heard that Satan went bald, and now there's hell to pay. I love it. Steve Bailey, CT Tiger, Jim Myers, Trey Jackson, David Garner thinks we should fire Hugh Freeze. Well,
please clap.
Peter Wang, Willie Moe, Chris Thrash, Chris, and our one-time and anonymous donors. We thank you all. www.auwishbone.com, where you will also find links to our greatest episodes of the past, or at least the ones I thought to put there.
I think that's a great call out, Van. If this season's getting you down,
yes,
go back and listen to the Kick 6 episode.
The 2010 versus 2004 episode. We Believed episodes 1 through 8, I think, are up there. The companion to our book. There's a lot of fun stuff.
Wishbone introductory episode, the basic knowledge.
Yeah, oh, the primer, yeah, the primer we did a few years ago, and maybe even the match game. That was epic. Match game was epic. I don't think we'll ever do that again because it took me days to prepare for it, and I just don't have the time anymore for whatever reason. So, all right, guess the game is on hiatus, to which Jared continuously makes me hear about. Worst coaches in the world, I'm just going to say, because I want to save time. I think it was Samuel Salvatore emailed in and basically said Billy Napier, and then I think he wants
Trent
LSU
Dilfer?
coach.
Okay.
Huh?
Trent Dilfer or Brian Kelly?
Oh, Brian Kelly.
Okay.
And then Differ was UAB, right?
Yeah, but he was fired this week. So
yeah. Oh,
and they immediately got dramatically better.
Without him, you mean?
Yeah, they were terrible with him. They fired him, and they went out and beat a ranked Memphis team this week.
Oh, the UAB beat Memphis? I didn't even see that.
Yes. And
I got to go watch the highlights.
UAB is coached by Chris Mortensen's son.
Whoa. Okay. I didn't see that, but I'm going to go check that out. I got me some imported British Nesquik banana flavor powder.
I'm so sorry.
It tastes like, you remember those banana twins that Little Debbie used to make? And you could like peel them in half and have the banana stuff on both parts. You remember those?
Or you could just eat a banana.
Well, who wants to do that? But do you remember the banana twins, though? They had that distinctive.
I'm familiar. That familiar fake banana taste.
That's why. This has the exact same flavor, but in milk. I'm going to go to Walmart tomorrow and try to get the strawberry kind, too, so I can make some strawberry banana. It'd be great. With absolutely 0% actual fruit in it. It's amazing. John makes the same look as my wife when I talk about this, which is
smoothie with actual bananas in them. So
yeah. Let's see. I guess we're going to go ahead into.
Thank you. Order. Questions to the Prime Minister.
It's time for listener questions. Dun 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 on the AU Wishbone podcast.
What do we got?
All right, first question is from a friend of the podcast, Samuel Salvatore, who says, "Hello, guys in War Eagle. Suppose the move happens. Who are your candidates on your wish list?"
That's a great question. I've been hyping up John Summerall ever since I saw an authoritative sounding tweet, I believe it was, that said he has Pat Dye's philosophy and Bruce Pearl's personality. And I'm like, well, sold American right there. So that's kind of who I've had at the top of my list. And I don't know who else would excite me. Now, one of my Twitter mutual follow friends was arguing with me that he was not a big enough name and he was not a Power 5 coach. Hold on, get this. And he said he's 1-2 against ranked opponents. I'm like, all right, so this is a guy that coached at Troy and at Tulane, and he's 1-2 against ranked Power 4 opponents, and he's not good enough. Are you serious? At Troy and Tulane. Troy and Tulane. You got to be kidding.
That's right. So, no, I mean, he's going to be an SEC head coach next year, whether it's Auburn or somewhere else, Arkansas, Florida, different school. So I think he should definitely be on the list. As you said, we're competing with other schools out there. There's no great assistants, coordinators out there that that you see that you're like, oh, I definitely want that guy. I think, people are going to be very interested in Alex Golish, the South Florida coach. I think he's going to get a bunch of phone calls this year.
Born in Moscow. Just think if we hired him. Oh, I got to do it now. Russia, number 1. Iran, number 1. Bama, number 1. All right, there you go. I ripped the record off the turntable for you.
That was good. I think, a lot of people are going to say, you've seen people say, go get Clark Lee. He played at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Sure he's going to leave. I've seen people say, go get Kenny Dillingham. He played at Arizona State. Not sure he's going to leave.
No.
So I think a lot of schools are going to back up the truck, throw money at those two guys. I think the freaking guy that beat us last weekend is going to get phone calls from Florida. So that is going to happen.
They're going to have to give him more than $10 million a year, and I just don't see Drink being a $10 million coach, one of the top 3 or 4 paid coaches. That
supply and demand. Okay.
I mean, I know he's done great at Missouri, but
there are more teams going to be buying than there are good coaching candidates.
Yes.
Signetti signed a giant deal. He's not leaving and going to Penn State or anywhere else.
Right. I know. So that's just another one off the market and another opening that's not filled. So that's why I feel like we need to pick our guy and do what it takes and get him ASAP, because you don't want to be the last person standing on the musical chairs.
Right.
You don't. You're going to end up with worse. I don't know what you're going to end up with.
We're going to end up picking the mediocre G5 coach. So from Boise or something.
Oh God, don't even.
All right. Our next email is from Bill Miner, who says, hey guys, since we've been to a few Final Fours now, I propose a new Final Four for you guys to evaluate the 4 worst football teams I can recall Auburn having in the past 20 years. If you had the 2008 team, the 2012 team, the 2022 team, and the 25 team play each other in a round robin scenario, which team would come out on top and beat the other 3? I just remember each season had plenty of ugly games. There were some things that were fun, but not to the level needed. And most importantly, when will you do a 2004 versus 2010 style play-by-play of the game of, say, 2008 versus 2022?
Yeah, that's not happening.
Bill, you were the only person even suggesting that.
Oh, my gosh. All right, so give me the 4 seasons again.
8, 12, 22, and 25.
I think 22 actually wins that. They had some players. 8, yeah, they didn't have much. 8 is crazy. 8 had a defense that kind of went away after 8. So 9 had Gus's new offense doing well, but they were giving up 40 points a game. So that 8 team couldn't score, but they had some defense. 12 was just I mean, they had players.
I'm not picking 12. Like that's
12 that's the damn thing. You add like 2 players to 2012's roster, and they're a play away from the national championship, and yet they couldn't take a step without falling on their faces.
That's why I'm not picking 12 or 8, because they didn't believe in their offensive coaches at all.
No, I think 22, honestly, and that's a sad fact, but I think that 22 wins that round robin.
That's scary.
So let's see, 22, 8, 12, and who was the other one?
Current season. I think the current season might win.
No. Current season finishes 3rd at best.
Oh, I think they're beating 12. I think with this defense, they're shutting down 12 and 25. I mean, 12 and 8.
Yeah, they are. That's true.
The game between this team and the 2018 might be 6-3, but
that's bingo. There's the winner. There you go. You made the winning call.
All right. Next email is from Matt Flowers, who says, "We stand on a precipice. Gentlemen and Boris, I come to you today to ask this. Are we misreading the barbecue? As of now, Auburn is 3-4, which means they would need to win out to match the predictions of many a barbecue plate, mine included, which prior to the Freeze era was fairly accurate. What do you think leads to this? The best answer I have is the recruiting hype. Freeze himself has shown a capacity in his career of growing, changing as a play caller, developer of talent, but much like Gus, was historically able to take great advantage of high talent players in his offense. So it's easy to look at this amazing wide receiver group, promising line additions and quality quarterback, running back changes, and think this offense would outpace prior years, even if offensive scheme itself was relatively unchanged. And yet we sit here on the verge of not merely failing to reach 8-4, but not even reach the bar minimum Freeze promise in preseason, going to a bowl game. So I ask, what are we doing wrong as we gather to perform our annual augury over plates of pulled pork, smoked turkey, and the occasional spare rib? What can we do to better read the barbecue? Love the show, and War Eagle, Matt Flowers.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm afraid to tamper with the barbecue. Maybe we're leaving something off, though. Maybe we're using the wrong kind of sauce. I don't know. I think we're just optimistic.
We clearly need to look at our process, but I think we're close. So
we're close. We're going to evaluate. We're going to evaluate everything, and we may have to switch out the sauce.
I think we're close.
Yeah.
All right. Next email is from Rusty Owens, and the subject line is next year's coach. He says, "Good afternoon, authorities. I'm not saying I am Nostradamus or anything. I've just been around long enough and have a decent enough memory that I recognize patterns. I was afraid after the Baylor press conference along Ball State, South Alabama, that Hugh would revert back to doing it his way. I now believe that Hugh is very similar to Gus because he requires players with certain attributes in order for his systems to work. That may explain why he went after Jackson Arnold instead of other portal QBs. Now that we've diagnosed the problem, and it is us, the question is, what do we do about it? The way I see it, you have choices based on your perspective. 1, fire Hugh midseason and give the interim title to Durkin. This assumes you feel like you can either retain the current players or easily replace them when you get a new OC. 2, you wait out the season to fire Hugh, but you've already had backdoor discussions with a number of coaches who are currently coaching elsewhere. I see what Hugh is having his normal press conferences today, so I assume he is coaching the team at Arkansas. If you haven't already, can you tell us your opinion towards which option you are currently leaning and why?"
So
fire Hugh and promote Durkin, or wait out the season and have backdoor discussions with other coaches.
No, I'm moving immediately. I feel like waiting till after Arkansas is waiting a week too late. I feel like it should have happened Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon at the latest. It's just me.
It's fair. I think I would say, I mean, this is not what I would do, but I think there's a concern if they promote Durkin and then he wins a couple of games. There's like, oh, you got to hire him.
Well, you can tell him, that's not, but yeah, I know what you mean, but still.
I mean,
well, somebody made the good point too. Now you got Derek Nix calling the offense, which might be even worse.
I'm skeptical that could be true, but I I think there's a real danger zone. You promote Durkin, and then what happens if he beats Alabama? You gonna hire him?
Hallelujah! I give him a big kiss on the cheek. That's what happens.
I'm not giving him the job. I'm not giving him a big guaranteed contract if that happens.
What would it take for Durkin to be your choice for our head coach?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: there's a whole bunch of job openings. I hadn't heard his name anywhere else. Have you? Nobody is like, man, we got to hire DJ Durkin at Florida. Nobody's saying that. Come on.
That's a good point.
I think that's part of it. I think the defense is really good. It doesn't mean that I want to hire him as the head coach.
Yeah.
He was not good as the head coach at Maryland.
Right. Well, Ellis Johnson was a decent defensive coordinator for us, and he went 0-12 at Southern Miss.
That's right. All right.
Kevin Steele and Clemson or whatever.
So I'm in favor of the keep Freeze in and then go talk to people. So, but I want to say this: I think there's a scenario where we go 6-6 and Freeze is back.
I think there's a scenario where that happens too. Yeah,
but if we go 6-6, Auburn fans are not prepared for that.
If we go 6-6, we're in a bowl game, and we're either 7-6 or 6-7. I think if we're 6-7, then they fire him. Then
that's right. But I'm skeptical about that. So
I don't think there's any way we go 6-6. We'd have to win 3 more games, and I don't see but 2 on our schedule that are winnable right now.
You're counting this one this weekend in that pile?
No, Kentucky and Mercer.
Kentucky and Mercer. Okay. All right. Next question's from Matthew Goodlow. It says, the 4 straight losses have put me firmly in the fire Freeze boat. In conversations of who would be the best option to replace Freeze, someone mentioned Eli Drinkowitz. Drinkowitz is coming off 2 straight 10-plus win seasons and looks to be on his way to doing it again this year. What a lot of people don't remember is that he started his Mizzou tenure with 3 straight losing seasons and then posted an 11-win season. My question is, do you think we could be jumping the gun on wanting Freeze gone at in year 3? If not, what differences do you see between Dirkowitz's first 3 seasons and the current predicament Auburn is in? I'm not exactly familiar with Mizzou's rise in recent years. Personally, I don't think we're being premature in wanting Freeze gone, given the play calling and the quarterback play. Also, all 3 years under Freeze have been during the portal NIL era, so roster building should be a quicker process now. On a side note, I just got a copy of All They Did Was Win to give my father-in-law for Christmas. He loved First Time Ever, Barkley to Bruce. Please keep turning out more books so I have an easy choice in gifts each Christmas. Matt G.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah. I would say the difference is Drinkowitz, his first 3 years, was not losing because he had a great roster of players and just couldn't get anything to happen with them. It was he didn't have a great roster. He had to build up the roster over a period of years. It just took him longer. And again, that was before NIL too, at the beginning of that. So it just took him longer to build up a roster. Once he did, he's been doing really well. Freeze has got the roster he wanted in 3 years, and we're going backwards. That's a big difference, I think.
Agreed.
It's not like we're going to go win 10 or 11 games next year with the same thing we're doing right now. We're not even going to have these players. The way this season is going. And that was what made me say it was okay to even go ahead and fire the coach, despite the players not wanting to lose those players, is I realized the way the season is going, we're not going to have them anyway. I mean, I've said this over and over. I will bet $10 there is no way Cam Coleman is on our team next year. He's just not going to be. He's going to be the first person out the portal. And I don't blame him. It's Bo Nix all over again, right? He's going to go off somewhere, go to Oregon or go somewhere else. God help us, Alabama. And he's going to end up in the NFL looking great in a couple of years.
He was initially committed to Texas A&M.
Yeah. He could be undefeated right now. It's just depressing.
Yep. All right. Next question is from Eric Mahan, who says, Van and John, what is your best argument for keeping Hugh Freeze the rest of the season? The only thing I can think of is that it will be nice to see Pavia finish the job and go 4-0 versus Freeze, just to put a nice embarrassing bow on top of his tenure. Thank you, Eric.
It would be 3, right? Not 4. Oh, did he beat him? He beat him at Liberty.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. Okay. No, I have no rationale for why we should keep him, and I'm firmly in the let's do it right now camp. So,
I think the best argument is you don't put Durkin in a chance to win some games and create a groundswell that he should get the job. I think that's the other reason to keep
would
Freeze.
that why? So why? I mean, you made the point that nobody else is wanting him to be head coach, and that's right. That's something I hadn't thought of, and you're not wrong. But why would you be opposed to him overall?
I mean, he wasn't a good head coach at Maryland. He had a very poor record. I'll look it up in a minute if we want, but it was bad.
Okay.
So, I think he, didn't inspire anybody there to be like, wow, we should get another head coaching job. That's why he's our defensive coordinator, not a head coach somewhere else.
See, what worries me
I think
is
he's a good defensive coordinator who should not be a head coach.
Right. But what worries me is that we're going to wait too long, miss out on all the good candidates, and Auburn's going to look around and be like, well, we got this really good defensive coordinator that's been a head coach before. He's a better option than what's out there in the field, so let's go ahead and do it, regardless of how it goes the rest of the year.
Agree.
Another reason I want this done quickly, so that's not an issue.
I get it, but I think if we wanted to hire him, he would be there. I don't know. I think they're not going to rush to fire Freeze. That's what I think.
I think that's a mistake because that's how you end up with Durkin.
That's how we end up with a search that ends up with Potato. So
that's right.
All right, last questions from Trey Jackson. Says, hey guys, I don't know what meter to use this week. No Sandboard option comes to mind for depression meter, but I'm curious about something from a historical perspective. What do you think have been the primary barriers to Auburn's success in the modern era? Has it always been meddling boosters or lack of vision from administrators? Is it just what happens when you share a state with school that is inferior yet somehow controls the state government? This season is no fun, but I wonder if there are systematic issues that still exist for Auburn that are getting overlooked. Figured you guys are the ones to ask. War Eagle Trey Jackson.
That's a great question, and I'll just say I have never been a big believer in the meddling boosters are the root of all evil at Auburn. I've just never. I mean, you can give me reasons why they've been bad. I can give you reasons other things have been worse.
Agreed.
I just have never – somebody's writing a big check and saying, hey, I'd rather this guy be hired. I don't know how that's a problem, really. I haven't felt like that was a big problem.
I feel like
we need more big boosters.
Yep. I feel like there's a lot of this at other places too.
I wish Tim Cook would just start writing blank checks, and he could.
He's not going to though, but it's a nice thought. I think. I mean, we're the only SEC school whose two rivals are teams that have won, national titles in the last 10 years. So I think that's a big piece of it too. I think other schools in the SEC have different rivals and different scheduling setups than we do. I think that's part of it. I think, we talked about this. I think it's poor decision-making, right? I think firing Gus was the right decision. Hiring Brian Harsin was the wrong decision. And I think I was having this after the Georgia game. I saw one of my cousins who's a Georgia fan, and we had this conversation. And we talked about the comparison there because Georgia fired Mark Richt. And they all like Mark Richt. He's a good human being, and everybody at Georgia liked him, but he was not winning enough games. And the difference is they went out and hired Kirby Smart. And we hired Brian Harsin. And that's the difference. So
that's right.
I think it's decision making about that kind of stuff. And and I'm not going to say that I mean, hindsight is easy, right? I really like Luke Fickell when we hired Freeze, and he's getting ready to get his rear end fired too.
Where is he?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, right? Yeah.
And they're going to run him out of town.
Again, it's like Frost at Nebraska. You just wonder, how did it not work? It should have worked. How did it not work? How do you win at small schools, but you can't win at ones that have the resources? The same thing with it's happened with a lot of coaches. You could argue it's happened with Freeze. I mean, it just is a weird phenomenon. Billy Napier, perfect example.
Fair. I think, again, Billy Napier, the whole time he was there, Florida was sloppy. That game last weekend, they scored a touchdown to go ahead in the end of the game, and Florida sent 12 guys on the field to kick the extra point. And that is why they fired him, even after they won the game, because that kind of stuff was still happening. So,
all right, let's take a look around the SEC, and we can wrap up and get on out of here. This is one of my favorite segments of our show now during we're in the season. Vanderbilt, LSU, that was a great game. I saw
excellent game,
most of it, and Vandy just wouldn't back down when LSU kept catching up. Vandy would just score again. They just went right down there on a good LSU defense. So,
LSU's defense is excellent. Their secondary is real good, and they beat the crud out of that LSU quarterback too. He had a bad day.
First time in 35 years, Vandy beat LSU. Oklahoma 26, South Carolina 7. South Carolina is just not having the year they thought they would have this year. I think that they felt like last year they kind of got up to the hump, and this year they're going to get over the hump, and it's been no.
Remember this in the offseason. Every SEC team thinks they're going to be better than they were last year, and most of them are not. And we talked about South Carolina. They've lost most of their good players in defense. They've lost most of their other contributors on offense. The quarterback was back, and one defensive end was back, but that's not a full team, and they are not the same.
That's it. So they make Oklahoma look good, even though they're struggling still. What is Oklahoma's record now? I don't even know. Are they like 5-2 or something? Probably something like that. They lost
5-1.
They lost to Texas.
Yep.
And is that the only team they've lost to?
Believe so.
Okay. Georgia 43, Ole Miss 35. Ole Miss led the entire game, and Georgia did the same thing to them they did to us, which is come on late and just crank it up. They can take it to 11. This is not a great Georgia team, but this Georgia team can play great at limited moments.
And they turn it on in the second half. They get better as the game goes along.
They're the opposite of us.
Amen.
They look bad early and then get better late, which is we're the opposite of that. Yeah.
They are. I want to go back to Oklahoma for 1 second. They are 6-1. I'm going to read you the rest of their schedule. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Ole Miss at home, at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri at home, LSU at home.
Oh, good Lord. We knew it was a gauntlet before the season even started. That's one that's actually gotten worse. That one's actually gotten worse than we thought it was going to be because Missouri's a lot better than we thought, among others. And Alabama's, after the first week, is better than we thought. So Georgia pulls it out over Ole Miss. Florida, Mississippi State, 23-21 Florida. Mississippi State was heading toward the win, man.
They had it.
Yeah. This, and Billy Napier's fired anyway. This, by the way, reminds me of something I was going to say to you. The way that we barely run the ball and we try to throw it every play and survey the field and get sacked and stuff, I know we have Hugh Freeze, but honest to gosh, it feels like we have the Pirate. It feels like I know, except we would be connecting.
I was going to say his offense works.
I know. But it feels like we're trying to do that incompetently. You know what I mean? It feels like we're going back and trying to throw the ball every play, every down, incompetently. That's just what it made me think of. A&M 3 points over Arkansas, 45-42. This is more than as much as anything. This is why I don't think we're going to beat Arkansas, because they were 3 points away from beating Texas A&M, and they scored 42 points on that A&M defense. So, Kentucky, Texas had to go to overtime and kick a field goal to beat Kentucky. This worries me too.
It was up there. It was in Lexington, I think so. But that's
it's a little disturbing. It shows Texas is not even as much as we thought. It also makes me a little nervous about playing Kentucky.
Agree.
I'm counting Kentucky as one of our 2 wins. if we can't beat Kentucky, we're 3-9, 4-8, man.
Yep.
Boy, does Baylor feel dumb. Baylor feel like a bunch of chumps at that point. And then Alabama, Tennessee, 37-20. Well, that's like the 2015 team almost beat beat Clemson, right? The 2012 team almost beat LSU.
That's right.
So you never know. 37-20. Alabama really is turning it on now, right? They've figured something out. They figured something out. I don't know
They
what.
figured out a few things after the Florida State game, and one of them is Ty Simpson's playing great football right now.
Yeah, they
probably in the lead for the freaking Heisman at this point. So,
Tulane Watch 2025. This is a new feature. I don't have a theme song for it yet, but I'll just say Tulane Watch 2025 for John Sumrall. They beat Army, which makes me happy, but you sad. I understand. Navy is one of like 4 undefeated teams right now.
I saw that.
I think we should all join in a rowdy rendition of Anchors Away. Are you ready?
No, I don't.
Anchors Away. Okay. They had a Ricardo Lewis prayer and Jordan Hare moment. Did you see the touchdown that Tulane had?
Tipped by the defensive back to him.
And then he bounced it up in the air himself and was like, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. And then he caught it right before he got the back of the end zone. That was really cool. So there's Tulane is like 5-1, 6-1, something like that.
One of the leaders potentially for the Group of 5 playoff spot.
Just saying, they got a coach we might want to look at. In NFL action, which I don't pay much attention to, but I saw a note about this. Bo Nix scored. His Broncos, which I guess he's the regular quarterback of now. I know there was some question for a while. They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Giants. They were actually being shut out and scored 33 points to beat the Giants. Nix became the first player in NFL history to rush for 2 touchdowns and throw for 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Nice.
That's incredible. All right, Week 9, Missouri at Vanderbilt. That's one of the better games, honestly.
I was gonna say, at Vanderbilt, that's going to be tough for Missouri too.
11 a.m. Texas at Mississippi State. Right now, Mississippi State has a shot. They've got a shot. I need to go make my pick 'em. Ole Miss at Oklahoma is probably the game of the day.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. It could eliminate Ole Miss if they lose, if they lost to Georgia. I think it could take them out. It's kind of a 1 loss versus 1 loss. Somebody's got to have their chance taken away. By the way, Vanderbilt, 1 loss and still in the playoff hunt. Just let that sink in. Vanderbilt and Missouri are playing each other. Is Missouri undefeated? They lose. They lost to Alabama. They both lost to Alabama. Missouri, Vandy both lost to Alabama, and they're both of their only losses. So somebody's about to get their second loss there.
Yep.
All right, so let me recap. Missouri, Vanderbilt, one of them's going to get their second loss. Ole Miss, Oklahoma, one of them's going to get their second loss. It feels almost like a second round
elimination.
Elimination, yeah. Alabama at South Carolina. If Alabama loses this, I'm just going to laugh and laugh and laugh. A&M at LSU. A&M should win, but a 7:30
Baton Rouge
night game in Red Stick, man. There's magic in the streets.
I don't know. LSU's offense is not good, but their defense is pretty good. They may
and that's one of those fake rivalries, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So, and then finally the nightcap that nobody cares about: Tennessee at Kentucky. Again,
in that Texas game, Tennessee should be a little worried about going into that. So,
yeah, exactly. Well, it's one of those. If you're Tennessee and you lose this, then you just write the season off.
That's right.
What is your non-conference game of the week to watch?
I'm gonna throw it UCLA at Indiana. It's at noon, so for an hour before the Auburn game, you can watch some of that resurgent UCLA team play at Indiana and get chewed up and spit out. So,
all right, we're going to need the split screen. We're going to have UCLA, Indiana, Missouri, Vanderbilt, and then later Texas, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Texas at Mississippi State. We're going to have all 4 of those on the split screen.
That's it. All right.
Did you mention BYU or did I?
Well, I was going to say BYU, Iowa State in the afternoon if you're not leaving the house after getting outside. So
yeah. All right. We covered a lot of ground tonight. We had a lot of ground to cover, but time to wrap on up and get on out of here. So www.auwishbone.com, and we will see you guys down the road. Our time is up. We thank you for yours. War Eagle, John.
War Eagle, man.